So here we go, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Kings of Anglia Fan Social. The podcast is, of course, proudly sponsored by Manscaped and Ginger Pickle. This week, I'm joined by Mark, Beck and Brad as we discuss all things town. Hope you all had a good Easter. A win and a draw for the Blues. 13 games unbeaten, 6 big games to go. Mark, Beck, always a pleasure, my friend. How's things?
Yeah, good, mate. Glad to be back on and fine company with Brad on the Fan Social. A bit tired, a bit exhausted. I'm not used to still talking or caring about a football season, but we're still plodding along with this season. And as you can see, I'm wearing a much maligned Ipswich shirt because it was a momentous day 4 years ago for all the wrong reasons. It was when our relegation was confirmed to League One, but hopefully we'll be talking about a momentous day in the future and when we can look back on fondly. But it is getting to that time now. I'm sure we're going to get into a lot more conversation about how this season is going to end up in this show. But nervous, excited, all that good stuff. It's unusual feeling for an Ipswich Town fan at this time of year.
Yeah. Games to play for, squeaky bum time and all that. Brad, how's things? Always good to have you on, my friend. We're in your kitchen, which is always looking fine. How's things?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Ross. Thanks for having me back on. Yes, back in the kitchen, which everyone seems to love. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive about the running. And like Mark says, it's amazing actually being involved in something at this stage of the season. I mean, I'm used to doing little Football League predictors where we've got 6 games left, seeing if we can make the playoffs, even though we're 10 points outside. So it's nice to actually have a realistic chance of doing something this season. And the Town are going up.
Oh, love it. Mark, you mentioned as well 4 years to the day we got relegated. Not great. First time. Let's not talk about it. It happened.
Yeah,
we're in a better place now. We're in a better place now. But you got to look at anniversary sometimes when you see a date. Like the FA Cup, UEFA Cup, the rest. You just remember that date, and that date 4 years ago. Deary me. We're in a great place. And first up, boys, 2 Easter games. Of course, a lovely Friday afternoon at Port Monroe, 4-0 win against Wycombe, but a 1-1 draw in Gloucestershire against Charlton, and my favourite feature, I'm sure some other people's favourite feature, one word to describe those Easter games. Mark, how would you describe those 2 results in one word?
I went round the houses trying to think of a word all day, but when did you send that through? We just settled on the most boring word. I just said fine. It is fine. I think we ain't going to, as much as we'd love to, this winning run, we've been spoilt this last I don't know how long it's been now. Was it 8 wins in a row?
Yeah,
more than that. Yeah. So 8 wins, 9 clean sheets. That was never going to last forever. It just doesn't. I think coming into this Easter weekend, I think there was a sneaky suspicion that probably I was expecting the Wycombe game to be a draw. It was the other way around. It ended up Cheltenham being the draw. 4 points from those 2 fixtures in what's quite a quick turnaround is fine. A bit of perspective. If it was the other way around, I think if we had drew with Wycombe and then won 4-0 or just won at Cheltenham, I think we probably would be less nervous, less twitchy, because it just feels like you're gaining ground. As much as we lost a little bit of ground on Sheffield Wednesday, which I know we still have the game in hand, which it's not guaranteed, definitely not against Barnsley, but it's still there. If we'd have won that game, having a 4-0 in there away from home, that would set us really, really well for these next 2 home games. I think it's fine. I think all your cliches come out this time of year, especially when you're in the race. As much as we're not used to it, it's one game at a time. We're taking each game on face value and merit. I think for me, the way I see the last 6 now, it's 2 game blocks. We get these 2 home games out of the way. Everyone's expecting us to win both. Won't be easy. Charlton are a very good team, and we've got Port Vale in there who maybe they're on the beach because they haven't really got a lot to play for. But you never know. And then see where we are after that. That's when we've got our 2 tougher games when you've got to go to Peterborough and Barnsley in 4 days. That's really difficult. And then you see where you are after that for the final 2. But yeah, we just keep trucking on. We're well in it. It's well within our grasp. If we win all 6 games, as lovely as that would be, and unlikely it probably is, we'll go up. As simple as that. Regardless of what Plymouth or Sheffield Wednesday do, if we win 6 games, which we have done in a row just recently, then we will be promoted.
Oh, I'm loving the positivity, boys. And you made a good point there, Mark, about if that was a reverse in terms of we drew 1-1 against Wickham, which is, poxy Wickham, and then won 4-0 away at Charlton, you'd be thinking, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. But people maybe twitch a little bit because we got a draw against Charlton. But they're our bogey side. I hate to say it, but we haven't beaten them in 4 games against them. So there we go. But Brad, what is your one word for the Easter games?
Positive. Yeah, I'm feeling positive. Friday was brilliant, wasn't it? It was absolutely brilliant. To be honest, beforehand, I thought that we would play them off the park because it was. I was looking at this game about a month ago when Ainsworth was still in charge, or 2 months ago maybe, and thinking that's going to be a tough game and that could decide quite a bit on the running. But since he's gone, I felt like Wickham are going to be nowhere near it come the last few games of the season in terms of playoffs. And I thought it was a game which we could absolutely rip them apart, and we did. We did quite easily, and it was fantastic. We were sitting top of the league, and we were again on Monday. And I'm feeling positive about the Charlton result because Sheffield Wednesday gone there and drawn 2-2. Many teams have not taken any points from this season there, let alone wins. So, and I think in isolation, it's a good point. I know we're desperate for a win. We're desperate to win every game. But if you just take it as I say, like we used to do like Saturday, Tuesday predictions where you'd be happy with 4 points from 6. Well, in this case, I'm absolutely happy with 4 points from 6 from these 2 games. You've got to look at it that way, I think. So, the Cheltenham game was a tough game, wasn't it? On a tight pitch. And I've actually done some research into tight pitches around League One. Okay. And fun fact for you, Cheltenham Town's pitch is 65 metres wide, and that is 10 metres less in width than Ipswich Town's Portman Road pitch. So there you go. It really is a tight pitch, ladies and gentlemen. That is why Harry Clark, who I don't necessarily think has got a huge throw, could throw it pretty much on the penalty spot. So, I think you've just got to get out there with a point. I know we were 6 minutes away from being top of the league, but that's just the way it goes. And the Walton one, it looked bad at the time, and it kind of looks worse now because he's coming to kind of like grab it as though he's not got his hands above his head as such. He's trying to pull it into his chest, which I don't think looks right. But I'm not exactly a goalkeeping expert, but yeah, it doesn't look great. But at the time, I said, "What a finish by Alfie May!" Because his touch to then quickly swivel and fire it towards goal that quickly. If our striker had done that, we'd be saying that's brilliant. So that's why he's League One Player of the Month, and I think he'll probably get a move in the summer. I think going into these next 2 games, I'm feeling positive. Positive weekend.
Good words. Fine, positive. Like it, boys. Like it. And one thing that is very positive is the Player of the Year vote, which is now open. And there's loads of contenders for the first time in a long time. I think last year wasn't too bad. I think there was a few contenders, but this is probably the first year where you think there could be 5, 6, 10 players maybe up for it. Mark, who are you choosing and why?
Well, there's the big 3, isn't there? There's the 3. It's like the final week, the X Factor. They're all worthy winners, unless you're one of the bad years. But you just got to pick the right one. Who's the most marketable as a winner? For me, I'm going with Sam Morsy. I think this season, when we signed Sam Morsy last year, we all had this preconceived notion of what Sam Morsy was going to be. You know, that bulldozing midfielder, hard tackler, not necessarily the most, technically gifted footballer, but he'd work hard. And to an extent that is true, but I think he's added so many different elements to his game this year. I think we were worried about his disciplinary record. The way he managed to manage his games, still putting in great performances, teetering on the edge of that yellow card and a 2-game ban when we really did need him. Like we were desperate for a centre midfielder. Evans was out injured. Ball was out injured. Luongo hadn't quite come to fitness. It was just him and Humphreys. We were all worried what was going to happen. And for someone to, be able to do that in his position where he is the captain, he's got to lead by example. It's nothing short of incredible. And then you look at him as a player, I think he's really added a lot of different elements to his game this season. And that, I guess that goes down to Kieran McKenna and what a good coach he is. I think he runs the games from midfield. At times he starts attacks, which we didn't really expect him to be doing. And his passing range is incredible now. With Evans out, again, that was another worry that we haven't got anyone who can spread the ball as well as Lee Evans in the team. But Morsey's been exceptional at doing that, playing those balls, switching it across to Davis or Clark now. And you look at the second goal against Derby, it's Sam Morsey's weak foot, left foot, plays it basically blind into the path of Wes Burns, and he's away. And that basically makes that goal. So for me, it's Sam Morsey. That's very harsh on Connor Chaplin, who, without his goals, we wouldn't be in this position. The amount of times we've seen him score a goal like he did on Friday, where you give him that half a yard or that extra second in the box, and he just picks the bottom corner every single time. The goalkeeper doesn't stand a chance, and he's come up with some really big goals and some huge moments to lift us to where we are on the table. And then the third one is Leif Davis. Leif Davis has been a breath of fresh air. So I'm not Harry Redknapp there. But yeah, he's been fantastic. We wanted that alternative, that Wes Burns on the left-hand side. And I think he's gone above and beyond. We've got someone who is a lethal set-piece taker. He's great going forward. I think defensively, he's improved a lot again. I thought start of the season, there was question marks. We've got Greg Lee on standby, who we seemingly have on ice. We can defrost him whenever we want, and he seems to put in a 10 out of 10 performance. But yeah, Leaf has been exceptional as well. Very good, Davis. But I'm going to have to pick Sam Morsey. But if you look at the whole team, I think what I've noticed with this team, and it's something we haven't had in Ipswich squads for years, there's a lot of fight in this team, and a lot of, there's been players who've been doubted at points during the season. I think back to Christian Walton was heavily doubted. People wanted him taken out of the team at one point. Responds with 9 straight clean sheets, including penalty saves, amazing saves in that spell. I think Freddie Ladapo is another one who got questioned a lot. I know I love him, and I'm probably being called biased here, but there's a lot of question marks about him. He's scored more goals in the league than any striker has done in any other season in League One. And even with Hurst coming in, we thought that would be the end of Freddie, but he responded right away with a couple of quick goals off the back of Hurst signing. Wes Burns, someone else who's being questioned, wanted to be dropped, wanted Jackson in. Ever since I think since the turn of the year, he's been exceptional. There's so many players you think who've been written off or doubted. Even Morsey himself, after Bristol Rovers, we thought, oh, here we go again. It's all starting to fall apart a little bit, but picked himself up, and he's led this team back up on a real push towards the title. But yeah, Morsey takes it for me. I don't think he'll win it. I think Chaplin will probably get the vote because he scores goals and he's a fun player to watch. But yeah, we love you, Sam Morsey, and I hope you're lifting a title, whether that be at Wembley or the league title.
Don't say the W word.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. No, Sam Morsey's my pick, although I was sort of edging between Chaplin and Morsey. But
it's nice to have a choice.
Yeah.
I remember when James Wilson won quite fairly that year, to be fair. But Christ, that was a struggle. Like, who do you vote for?
I don't even want to look back at that squad then and sort of know which other candidates could have been. But yeah, James Wilson deserved that one, definitely. Brad, who's your choice there, my friend? I want to quickly bring up, and I'll let you sort of answer this as well. like Massimo Luongo somewhat could be in for a shout, maybe to get some votes because of his great run since signing. But is it difficult? I don't know how someone could win it if they're only just signed in January, but he's been fantastic.
I think here's the reason why Sam Morsey's not my pick, which might sound strange, but I think since Luongo's came in, that has allowed Morsey to be Morsey again. And Morsey's been brilliant the whole way through. And yes, he did carry us when he was carrying Humphrey. Well, not carrying him. Humphreys were putting in brilliant performances, but he was doing a lot of defensive work alongside Humphreys and kind of babysitting in a slight way. And I think that's why I've gone for Leif Davis, because with Morsey, he's just that good a player. He is the best player at our football club. I think so anyway. The way he, like every game, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a base level 7 out of 10 from him. You know you're going to have desire, determination, leadership. He brings it all to the table. He's just a brilliant footballer. But I think in terms of player of the season and who we, well, Morsey's never missed. I don't think Morsey's missed any games, has he? Or maybe 1 or 2. But the player who we did miss for me the most when he wasn't fit, I know what you're saying about Greg Lee, but I still think Leif Davis has been my player of the season. The fact that Lincoln away, I'm still scarred from, because I feel as if Davis was playing that game, we'd have won that game, because it was we had all the possession. They had 10 men, and every time Greg got the ball, he wanted to go backwards. He wasn't pushing on the way that Leif would. He's a really good deputy, and I think is brilliant defensively. Puts himself about, but I think what Leif has brought to his team has been nothing short of huge. We're all saying last season we need a Wes Burns for the left-hand side. That's what we were all saying, and I don't think we thought that we'd get anyone anywhere near as good as what Davis has been. I thought we'd get a good left back, maybe a tidy left back, someone who's still young, who is probably still learning his trade along that left-hand side. But it's like he's played 100 senior games already. How assured he is in his defensive work as well. He doesn't miss a beat defensively as well. I mean, like cleared that ball off the line at the weekend, and there's been other moments where he's been come to the rescue defensively, and just his assist numbers speak for themselves. I'm not a huge numbers guy. I always like to look past numbers, but you can't ignore that. That's huge from a left back. And for years, I've always been moaning about our left back, Stephen Ward, Miles Kenlock. God, how far can we go back? Basically, since Tyrone Means and Aaron Cresswell. And what Davis has brought back for me is the fact that we've now got 2 attacking fullbacks. We can attack down either side, and he's freed Burns up in as such to be Wes Burns again. And I think he's been the missing piece to the jigsaw, and I think is a massive reason why we're where we are in the league.
Oh, said my friend. Do you know one thing? Little takeaway from Monday at Cheltenham, the Cheltenham fans, when Leif Davis was taking some of the corners, they were going, "Oh, go away, you Leeds reject." I was like, okay. They've done their research. They know he's a former Leeds player. They've done their research. But I was like, he's signed for Ipswich Town because he knows this club is onto big things. So there we go. But that was just a funny little takeaway. But yeah, Leif Davis, what a signing he's been. He's definitely up there for me as well. Definitely a top 3, as Mark's mentioned him in his top 3.
I can't believe the Dapo wasn't Mark's. I mean, I thought he was your boy.
I can't subscribe to that. I've got to straighten the narrative. In my head, that might be the case. I've got to be diplomatic. It's a politician's answer.
Yeah, but he does get I'm sure he'll get a few votes, though, Mark, just because he's a great character in the squad and he scores some goals. So I think there'll be some people who just they will just vote.
I think he's done better than a lot of people expected, but Hurst can't fault him. Like, you talk about levels, like Freddie's a very capable League One striker. Not so sure how he'll manage next season if we do go up, but Hurst, if you give him some belief, and I think if he gets settled somewhere, I think he's going to be a big player. Like, just scores all sorts of goals. Like you said with Luongo, like Hurst could really be of contention to be signing of the season. There's so many contenders for signing of the season. We've got both transfer windows spot on. for the most part. There's a few signings that have not really worked out, like Kamara's not worked out, a little bit unfortunate. Keogh splits opinions. Still baffled about Hadmi, but I'll say, well, I won't talk any more about that because I get shut down about that. Yeah, so there is a lot of contenders for people who could come in late, and on another season they might actually have won it. Like Broadhead, another one, exceptional. But yeah, I think it is going to be one of them three. I think me and Brad are going to be wrong as well.
Ooh, we'll find out. But yeah, get ready though, ladies and gentlemen, for the end of the season when we do a lot of awards and stuff like that. And this will be actually a season we'll be enjoying looking back on. I'm sure. In previous season, we're like, okay, we'll do a podcast to look back at the season, but we're like, that happened, blah blah blah. But no, it's great. Well, one player who has won awards, and that is George Emerson, has named the EFL Player in the Community for League One. Of course, he'll be part of the whole shebang for the EFL, with Championship and League Two players as well. I can't remember the Championship League Two. I think it's Omar Beckles for League Two. I can't remember the Championship player.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Sorry. I can bring it up soon. But also, of course, Kieran McKenna has been nominated League One Manager of the Year, and Cameron Humphreys nominated for the Young Player of the Year. But Mark, the big question, and we spoke about this on the main pod, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it as well. League One Player of the Year, there's no town player. Barry Bannon, Aaron Collins of Bristol Rovers, and Johnson Clark Harris of Peterborough. Thoughts on that one? No town player.
Clark Harris and Bannon seem a given. Like they are Mr. They're top level League One players. Like probably too good for the division in reality. Barry Bannon. You have to say this is the full name. It's not Bannon. It's Barry Bannon. Every time you can't say Bannon. He is. We've spoke about him so many times. He gets a bit boring, but he is that good. He can be that good. I think Connor Chaplin's really unlucky not to be in there. I think Aaron Collins is a very lucky boy to get in there. I think his assist numbers have kind of tipped the balance for him there. Chaplin's not really a creator; he's more of a finisher. He can create, obviously, but in terms of pure numbers this year, he's not up there in the assist chart. But it's nice to see us get some recognition elsewhere. To have a manager in it that speaks volumes. Going into numbers, people do get sick of the old XG and XG4 against and whatnot. Is Ipswich all the way? We are top of all those things. Whether that comes out in the wash, we'll wait and find out. But yeah, it's nice to see them be recognised. I mean, for me, the George Edmondson one is really great to see, and I know a lot of people say it comes up every fans forum. We've got our club back, but it's things like that. You get a player who's he's got no real affiliation to Ipswich before joining us. And you see a lot of these projects where players come in for big money on big wages, and they don't buy into where they're living. Like there's a lot of the lads this season who seem to love living in Suffolk. Who can blame them? But they love living in Suffolk, and they love playing and representing Ipswich Town on and off the pitch. I think the club themselves do themselves a lot of favours the way they publicise it, maybe more than they ever did. But yeah, these guys coming in and actually wanting to be here and wanting to make a difference to not just on the pitch, but to the people that spend their hard-earned money, and even those who are a little bit disadvantaged and unfortunate in life, making a difference to them is really great to see. And it's just one of those things you can't help but be proud of as an Ipswich fan. Fridge has been out for most of the season as well, but he's still making a difference. And before, under the old regime with our neglectful owner, whose terrible shirt I'm wearing, with the sponsor that's on it, I'm very glad that it's cutting off the sponsor. But it was just Chambers and Scouse doing it off kind of their own back and not really getting any plaudits for it. You'd get this, that, and the other coming in for 6 months just for a paycheck, not really caring why they're there other than picking up their their final paycheck for a lot of them. Now we're players who are going to be here for a number of years, we hope anyway, and they're proud to be Ipswich Town players.
Yeah, definitely, Brad. Yeah, your thoughts on that, Fridge? Unfortunately this year it's probably not worked out in terms of him on the pitch, but off the pitch he's been fantastic. And I remember back in the day seeing those, them hospital visits or just general, in the community visits, and then just pictures being shown and just players like they didn't really look like they want to be there. But now the players, they just want to be there. It looks like they put their hand up. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm happy to do that. Connor Chaplin and co. But yeah, George Emerson, well played.
Yeah, I think that's why I find it just fantastic for how George has basically how he's put himself about with our football club, and the fact that this season hasn't really worked out for him. He hasn't been first choice even when he's been fit. He's had a really, really tough season, and I think any other footballer probably would be wanting to move away. If your club's going up to a championship and you're not even first choice in League One, you're probably starting to think the way you're going to be next season. But I think that's just it really does show where we are as a football club now, and the people that are running it, and the whole messages of running towards adversity, the whole culture that's now being embedded in the club, and how the players, like you say, Mark, they all they're all like little characters within themselves, aren't they? And they all just really look like they love the club, and really it means a lot to them. I mean, you see a lot of them are just really punching the badge when they score, and just really giving it some to the crowd. And I think that's been one of the most pleasing things about this season, is the fact we've got a group of players now who really care about a football club, and you feel like we're on the journey with them, and it's not just the players and the fans. It feels like it's all one. And I think that's absolutely fantastic, the work that George has done in the community. And I think it also speaks volumes to the actual foundation itself. I think they've got to come out with huge credit here, because they'll be the ones setting everything up and doing all of the events and putting stuff on. And it goes the whole way from the football club. The media guy, I think Jacob is excellent. Henderson, who, I mean, you go on Twitter now, there's about 20 notifications a day from the football club, and the fact that there's always constant information for fans. There's a constant conversation there, and it feels like the football club, we now have our family club back. For years under Marcus Evans, it didn't feel that way. When I was first started going as a boy, it was always like family club Ipswich Town, real family, and it definitely faded away from that in the Evans era, because it just all became about just like surviving in terms of money, and also the lead and all sorts. But yeah, it's just brilliant where our football club's out, and congratulations, George.
Yeah, definitely, boys, definitely. And you mentioned the foundation. Of course, this weekend's game against Charlton is the dedicated Ipswich Town Foundation fixture. So, a big shout out to the foundation. Anybody who works at the foundation, listen to this. Hello, well done for all your great work. And one thing that's actually come out recently, actually just before we started recording, is that the club will be holding a memorial. I can't say it, boys. Memorial service. For the pitch, because the pitch is getting worked, and of course people have, put a lot of ashes, of their loved ones, probably been massive Town fans, but there's going to be a garden in place for start of next season and stuff like that, which I think is just another great thing the club are doing, just thinking something that no one probably would think of, but that's a great thing, Mark, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like, I know personally, one of my best friends, his brother sadly passed away on the way to the hospital, and they made sure that they went past Portman Road before they took him to the hospital. And yeah, it means it's a special place for a lot of people. You've met family, friends, loved ones. It's all time shared there, and like you said, it's just something that probably not all clubs would even think of. Maybe not necessarily. Whoever's had that idea, it's just, that is the 100% the right thing to do, and it just shows that they care. Like, they didn't have to do that. They don't have to do, I don't think a lot of people would have thought about it, and even perhaps the people whose ashes have been spread there, the family would have thought this is just a natural, process that it would happen eventually, that the pitch would get dug up and this would happen. And, unfortunately that would go with it. But for the club to recognise that and offer support and still do that for people who are, probably still grieving, especially something like this may bring up, more trauma. Like, for this to be there, it just shows an extra level of care that they've gone to. And yeah, it's just one of those things. It as much as a sad thing, it does make you smile to show that people at the football club care again.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing you just never think of, but yeah, fair play to the club. And another big thing, on a happier note, which of course that was a happier note, but this is a more happier note. Early bird season tickets have sold out. 21,000 tickets. Blue Army, you are just incredible. That is just, Brad, mate, that is just fantastic. I think it's not a surprise anymore. Like, sellouts, in League One, it's a norm now. But 21,000 season tickets gone like that.
It's mental. It's absolutely mental. It's not even the middle of April. Look, the next season doesn't start until August. It's absolutely mental how you can sell that many tickets already on the Ollie Bird. The early bird is I'll say it again, mental. We used to dream about getting 21,000 in the ground, let alone 21,000 season ticket holders. It just goes to show that people love going to Portman Road now. I do. I'm sure Mark does. Everyone does. Every time we play at Portman Road, you know that you're either going to be entertained by the team on the pitch, which is probably a given at the moment. But that's not the be-all and end-all, because there will be tougher times ahead. And I'm sure that the majority of people who have bought a season ticket next season probably are thinking we're going to be in the Championship and know it's going to be not as many wins and not as many goals as next year. But they're enjoying going because of what we've been discussing before, the feel-good factor of the club is back, and how it feels like it's a family again. And people want to go. People enjoy their Saturdays again now, where they're going with their friends to a pub beforehand or going for a meal, whatever it may be. And it's a real, for me, as well as many other fans, it's now a real event on a Saturday. And it's back. And it's incredible. The support has been incredible all season, home and away. And it goes to show we are a big club, because the fans were always there, even in the days when I was in the North Stand. Looking around me, the whole row was empty to my left. Behind me, it probably was as well. And for some reason, they were announcing there's 15,000 in the ground. It was absolutely nowhere near that. And now to be where we are, because it's not taken that long either. All we needed was a bit of positivity, owners with the right direction. I know it don't sound like much, but it should be a given in football. You shouldn't be lumbered with these owners who basically take the soul out of a football club for their own interests and their own ego. But that was what we had for years, and we're now getting what we should be getting. We're now getting what we deserve as a football club. We're a one-club county in professional terms. The support is massive, and it is mental that we've solved that many this early, but I don't think it was ever going to be a problem. I mean, they can't obviously sell any more season tickets because they need to make more money on matchday tickets, etc. But it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. My sister, she's actually got my niece and my nephew season ticket for the first time as well. So they're just any generation. The fun little chant that will be there though will be where were you when we were shit? That would be the funny chant. But it was just one of those, but now everything, as you said, Brad, it's an event. But yeah, Mark, your thoughts on it all?
I mean, yeah, Brad summed that up perfectly, pretty much. It's just an enjoyable place to go and watch football again. Like, results aren't always guaranteed, but like Brad says, you're entertained, people are invested, both, the fans are invested again, as well as the people, running the club. Everyone's invested in trying to make this football club successful, and you see it in the town. Like Saturdays are absolutely heaving. I remember going to the pub beforehand. It's kind of like you and one man and his dog. Now if you look at the Greyhound, for example, one of the best pre-match pubs in town. I'm not going to start a debate on that, but it is one of the best. Their pictures they put up nearly every Saturday of their beer garden. It's heaving, like it's ridiculously busy, and it's like that post-match. It's just a real boost for the town. I think Ipswich has, not to get too political, has suffered quite a lot, and I genuinely think that's down to the decline of the football club. There's just less people in the town, but we're starting to put Ipswich back on the map a little bit, step by step. That promotion would be huge for that as well, and people just enjoy coming to, I go to football earlier than I ever had done before now, because I want to soak up all that atmosphere and get involved and be fully invested in 90 minutes of football, and all the experience that it comes before and after that. And yeah, it's just, as Brad said, mental is the right word. I can't recall having so many messages, people asking me, can you get me a ticket? Do you know anyone who's got a spare ticket to games? Because it just doesn't happen. Maybe for the odd cup game, which again is a distant memory because we don't have many cup runs. But like, even after, I can't even remember for the Arsenal game, I don't think it was that difficult to get tickets as it is for Exeter at home. So that's just crazy to say. But yeah, no, I just hope this isn't the peak. We keep going, and the future is as bright as the shirt I'm wearing. But yeah, let's hope so anyway. But yeah, if you've missed out, join the waiting list, or if you're really desperate, I'm sure they'll be selling a load up the road, because I think that's because they're going the other way.
Yeah. I'm sure people won't go down that far. They'll just have to just wait and wait. But yeah, as you mentioned, Mark, though, just local businesses and people, going into the town. I think there's going to be 28, plus going into the town itself. Maybe not everyone will go, to pubs and local stuff. They may just go straight to the ground. But just think there'll be 20,000 plus people in town of Ipswich Town is fantastic. So well done to you all who are getting involved in that, and enjoy the ride. Well, it's time for the strike, the pinnacle part of the podcast. Brad and Mark going head to head. Who will be crowned champion this week? I think it was last week. It was a bit of an interesting one. It went down to sort of, someone basically got whitewashed, and it wasn't great for the person. I forgot who was it now. Was it John on the last pod? It doesn't matter. It's Mark.
Random, Bulgarian players that signed from Portugal again this week, because you stitched me up last time when we had that.
No. I've got a Macedonian player. I got Felice Smulikowski.
Oh, there's only one, isn't there?
Yeah, true. I don't think there's any others. Maybe we had a trialist once upon a time, back in whenever it was. But yeah, Felice Smulikowski is going to be part of the strike at the moment. So a quick little chance for you to find out your stats on him. I've actually just
read questions about his debut goal.
Sadly not, but he did score on his debut. Yes, he did.
Remember that like it was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, good old Felicia. Although it's also, this is question 3, so we have to wait. But his name is spelled differently. I've done a question on him before. I think last year, because it's his birthday this month. That's why he's got a question. I think last year I did a question on him, and the spelling was different to what it is. We'll get to it in a minute. Let's get to question 1. And spelling of this man's name is very easy, because it's Matt Holland, of course, celebrating his birthday this month, only recently. Good old Bournemouth. He was there doing an interview, and the Bournemouth got him a cake. So well done to Bournemouth for doing that. But what is Matt Holland's middle name? Is it Brian, Lee, or Reese? Brian,
what a build-up.
Reese. Good old Matt Holland. Matt, Brian Holland. Matt Lee Holland, or Matt Reese Holland. I know there's some big Matt Holland fans out there. I know a lot of people love Matt Holland because of him being Captain Fantastic, but I'm sure there's some really diehard Matt Holland fans who will know their middle name. So maybe a point for someone straight away. But Brad, Mark, what are you going for?
Brian
from Melton.
Wow. Yeah, Brian from Melton. That is hilarious. But you are incorrect, both of you. It's actually Reese. It's actually Matt Reese.
Too Welsh for me.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was Irish. Well,
Reese can be an Irish name, I think. Reese, I think you can spell Reese differently, can't you? You could do Reece. This is Rhys if you're listening on audio. If your name's called Reese. I don't know if there's any other way you can spell Reese. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, it's definitely a Welsh spelling, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think he qualifies through one of his grandparents for Ireland, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like most Irish players.
Yeah. Very Irish.
Very Irish. Question 2, and I was about to say he's Irish, but he's not Irish. I don't think he's Irish. Joe Royal, he's not Irish, is he? Where's he from?
Scouser.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Scouser. Bloody hell, what am I doing? He's from Liverpool. Stick with me. He's on Joe Royal. 189 games he took charge of Town, but how many goals did his side score in 189 games? Of course, his team scored more than the opposition. 6-4, 4-2, 5-3. All the goals. Of course, closest gets the point. If you get it bang on, I don't know, I'll make you 5 points.
There's going to be some maths here, Ross.
Yeah, got to think about it. So 46 league games, cup competitions. We also played in the UEFA Cup in his first season. His first game was actually in the UEFA Cup, in charge. Against Slaven Liberec, I think it was.
Got at least 3 goals, I think.
Gucci, Darren Bent scoring goals. Tommy Miller scoring penalties.
I'm just going to double it, I think. No, I can't double it because that'd be obscene.
Double 189.
I'll go for a nice round. 300.
Okay. 300.
286.
Ooh. Well, no one's got a bang on, but someone is 8 away. Correct answer is 308. So Brad is the closest. So he gets the point.
Hell.
There we go. That was
I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy with that.
That's really good. That's really good.
I was thinking about them goals between Bent and Cucci, and yeah,
I think that's You just got to think of the goal scorers. But there we go. If you got a bang on, anybody listening, watching, then well done. Let me know. Without cheating, don't Google and then find out. You have to do it on top of your head straight away. Just like the boys did there. Had to do some maths and all that. Question 3 is on Wojciech Szymulkowski, as mentioned in the intro of the strike. Now, what squad number did he wear for Town? 23, 26, or 28? Apparently Szymulkowski, you can spell it with an H, like S-H or U, but on Wikipedia it says, once again, you can't always trust Wikipedia, but I just look at different websites. On Wikipedia it's spelled with no H, but then there's some other websites that has an H. Maybe one day I'll catch up with Wojciech and ask him what is the correct spelling. If you're listening, Wojciech, let us know. Let us know. But what's his squad number?
He's in North Macedonia at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah.
28.
28.
28. The correct answer is 26. So incorrect for those. So only 1-0 going into the final question. And the final question is on Macaulay Bond. Of course, returning to Portman Road with Charlton.
Brad's going to get this.
Well, nearly. If I had my way, I'd have named my son after him. I'm glad I didn't now because he didn't come back. So,
well, there you go.
I do love him. But yeah, please don't score on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll find out. He won't celebrate, will he? He won't celebrate. I think it will be one of those calm ones.
He'll actually score an own goal because he's that desperate for the Town to get promoted. He's just blue, isn't he?
Sorry, lads, but I got to put
it from a contract to throw the game.
There we go. Yeah. But talking about goals, how many goals did he score in 46 games for Town? I think Brad knows it.
I think I know because that was that thing on the last game of the season when Wes overtook him.
Yeah. I was debating what sort of question because I wanted to do a Macaulay Bond question as he's playing against us, but there's not many other. I could have done his middle name as well, but I thought I can't do 2 middle names in the strike this week. And I think everyone will know his squad number. But goals, I don't know. It's because it's from last season. What's happened? Okay, well, take it away.
13.
I think it might be 12.
Ooh, it is 12. It is 12.
But I went with 11.
Cheltenham. So there we go.
We'll just go to the tiebreaker because I think Brad is technically 1.
3-0 that.
No, because you got closest as well because you got 13. So
yeah,
it's 2-1.
I put 11 up.
Did I thought you said 12?
As soon as so I've actually got 11 wrote down, but as soon as I put it up, I thought no, it was 12.
11 in the league and 1 in the cup.
Yeah, I think
that's where I thought I knew there was 12 in there somewhere, and then I added an extra one for a cup.
Yeah, I forgot what was it. Maybe the pizza trophy, or was it in the FA Cup? Although we didn't do really well in the FA Cup, so maybe it wasn't in the FA Cup. Probably wasn't. I'm going to quickly get it up. But yeah, we'll use tiebreaker anyway. But yeah, 12 goals in 46 games. Not a bad return. Let me just double check the other goal.
Over a season, it's all right. It's just a shame how they came.
Yeah. No, they're all in the league. Yeah, all in the league. Yeah.
But he was one behind Burns, was he? And our top scorer last season, the lead, had 12 goals. You think this season, Chapman's on 18? Is he in the lead?
Yeah.
Freddie's on 14, 15. You've got people like Harness,
Burns,
Broadhead, Burns, Hurst. I mean, there's so many more goals this year. It's incredible, and that's why we are where we are. But
yeah, that's what we finished 11th last year. But there we go. I was going to do a question on Scott Fraser, but I didn't in the end. But fun fact about both Scott Fraser and Macaulay Bond, they both, of course, scored in their debuts in the Morecambe game last year. So little connection for them, and now they're both teammates. Of course, he'll be returning to Portland Road. It will be actually the first time he's going to be playing against Town at Portland Road because he didn't play in the 4-0 win, but he did play, of course, at the Valley, but didn't play at Portland Road. So he'll be returning for the first time.
Yeah, I liked Fraser, but he's got absolutely no legs. So as long as he just runs all over him, then we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Although he did score a really good free kick recently, so watch set pieces if he gets something.
He ain't got to run up to it. Yeah, he's only got to just walk up to it and he on a free kick. But yeah.
We'll find out. But yeah, of course, we'll preview the Charlton game in due course. But tiebreaker time then. And tiebreaker time, I introduce you. Come on, John. John Stead comes in the room. How many goals did he score?
Oh, he was actually coming in then.
That would be amazing.
He lives in America now. He's coaching in America somewhere, so that'd be good. If I brought him onto the call, that'd be good. Maybe a future strikes. I should just bring, if we have a tiebreaker.
I've had many questions. What's he been doing for 48 minutes?
Yeah, just sitting in the background, just like he's been making a cup. He's drinking a cup of tea and all that.
He's just doing it. He's doing his warm up, up and down your Landon.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's 40 now. John Stead celebrated his 40th birthday this month. The good old John Stead. I always liked him as a player. How many goals scored? Of course, in the Norwich game, the last time we beat them. Sorry to bring that up, but he did score in that game. We took his shirt off and everything and showed his.
Oh, he was ripped. He was.
He was a ripped boy. Yeah. That was one of his goals. But how many goals did he score for Town in 67 games? He also scored in his Town debut. So another goal for you. That's 2. But no more goals. I'm telling you. I'm not letting you know more goals. 67.
He had quite a good amount.
Yeah, he had decent.
I reckon he was a 1 in 3.
Oh, 1 in 3.
So I'm going to go 24.
19.
Someone is 1 away, and that man is Mark Beck. It's 20 goals. 20 goals.
He wasn't prolific. He was very good at hold up. Holding the ball up. I know he wasn't prolific.
Like he loves scoring against QPR. I think he scored like 3 or 4 goals against QPR. I just know that stat for some reason. Now, technically, I don't know if Mark's won really because
he can have it. Can
he have it? Because I know that was the tiebreaker, but because it was the question 4. I do have another question somewhat, but there's no closest. You'd have to just guess the.
It's tiebreaker 2.0.
Yes, it's not a basically closest to that. It's basically just it's options again.
This is like that scene in Dodgeball where I can't remember what it's called.
Oh,
it can't be like.
I know what you mean.
The one ball in there.
It's sudden death, but
sudden death overtime or something.
Overtime. Sudden death overtime. Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah.
I can take my glasses off when that's pretty much been blindfolded.
Yeah. Well, okay, in tiebreaker 2.0, and it may not work, but we'll find out. Dominic Samuel, remember him?
Wow.
Lone player. He is currently playing at which Scottish top flight side? Dundee United, Motherwell, or Ross County?
He's done well to be at a top flight Scottish club.
Yeah, to an extent.
I mean, he reminds me a bit like John Jules in his stature and how he wasn't bad technically, but he played in an awful team, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Was that was mixed last season? I think he was on loan, wasn't he?
Wasn't it? Yeah.
It was Forest away.
Yeah.
When they stayed up. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. Dominic Samuel. I think he didn't play many games, but he's just on my sheet here of birthdays in April. So, and it's perfect 2.0 tiebreaker question. So, what do you reckon? Who is going to take this? Please don't say the same answer because that just kills this.
Dundee.
Ross County.
My boy.
It's got to be Ross County because
it's Ross County. It's Ross County. That was my fear on this question. My fear was this question, like you'll be thinking, you'll see Ross County and think, it's got to be Ross County because of me. But yeah, he plays for Ross County, and so Mark Beck does win. So and he loved it. Speech, my friend.
I've been stewing over this because Brad beat me in the Strike Invitational many moons ago.
Yeah,
I've finally got my revenge. Maybe not deserving because Brad was very hospitable there and let it go to sudden death overtime when I think he did actually win. But no, worthy opponent.
It was pretty much basically what we're now about to talk about. That was like the 4-4 game at the Valley where I'd won the game, but then just decided to give you 2 late goals. So.
I'm coming out of the I'm doing my tunnel jumps at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pleased we don't do that. I don't know. For me, it just looks very cringy. Yeah. But definitely when they go in and then they come out, don't they? They go in.
I don't know who started it. I think it might have been Chris Powell.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit weird.
I don't know. A lot. Different clubs have different things. Like, of course, we've got Harry Clark doing the fist pump again now. But you go into the tunnel and come back out. But yeah. You mentioned 4-4, Brad, and Charlton is this weekend. A lot has happened since then. A lot of good. Well, no, that's part of the blip. And then, of course, we've got on this amazing run. But sort of some reflection of that, Mark, that 4-4 at the Valley. It was a very freak day in the capital. From the 2-0 defeat to the 4-4 draw. We've not been having great times at the Valley, but that was one hell of a game.
I think I'm still processing it, really, to truth be told. A lot happened that day. Bizarre, like just one of them games that you see them most weeks on the calendar, and we're very rarely involved in a game like that. You just think, what's gone on there? Like, literally, that's just the maddest game of football. And Lady Luck said it was our time, and it came round to be us that time. Just crazy. Yeah, he had the Charlton fan had a whistle in the game, didn't he? They kept blowing the whistle. His Town fans in the home end, he got kicked out. Ben Garner being pantomime villain. Now he's at Colchester, isn't he?
Ed Sheeran was in that game for an away game.
Yeah. Then we had all the. Was that? Oh no, it was the season before, didn't we? We had it's always Charlton, isn't it? We had this year before where was it Mark Barham or Bertram who was linked with being new manager at the time or something, and everyone was questioning that. But yeah, no, it was all set up for Freddie's moment, wasn't it? I had that. I'm still frustrated about that. I had Titanic music written all for that. Oh, such a good goal as well. Then we just spoiled it in the end. I don't know if he's fit, but I really hope Chuck Zanike isn't fit for.
I think he's out for the season. think he's out for the season now.
That's good because he literally ripped us a new arsehole when he came on. But no, crazy game. You can tell by there's just so much that went on. I'm not used to it being an Ipswich fan. I've been very sterilised by football. That 4 goals and loads of chaos on and off the pitch is a little bit disorientating for an Ipswich fan. But yeah, that's 2 games where we scored in a row. We scored 4 goals against Charlton. And we've had a few 4-0s at home this season. Let's hope we continue that on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Brad, let's segue then into the game. They're 10th in League One. Dean Holden is now the manager. Of course, Ben Garner, I think, got sacked a few weeks later. Dean Holden actually is a former appointment of Mark Hashton's at Bristol City, which is a little connection there. They're one of the form sides, actually. Won defeat in the last 7 games. As we mentioned, Macaulay Bond, Scott Fraser, Matt Penny, but he's a lone player and he's not been playing for them. Won't get into that. But what's your thoughts going into this one, my friend?
I'm confident. I am confident because if I was a Charlton fan and Charlton player, I'd be having words in the dressing room beforehand, thinking, lads, do we want to play Ipswich again next season? Nah, not really. Let's just take the loss. Let them get out of League One. Cheers. Thank you very much. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I think they actually match up quite well against us because there's not that many teams now that play 4-3-3. It's normally a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-5-2, but they are very much a 4-3-3. And I like their 3 midfielders, Fraser, Gilby, Dobson, apart from what he did at that full time, like Mike was saying, running out the tunnel and fist pumping.
He was kept the armband on, which I respected. He kept the armband on, I respect that.
Yeah, but technically they've got some good players. Ratsaki is going to be possibly named the young player of the season. Probably will be in the team of the year as well. He's a big threat. You got Macaulay Bond returning as well. Miles Leeburn is really getting a lot of clubs after him. He's a young striker. So, technically and talent-wise, they've got it. And I think next season they could be actually ones who are pushing for the playoffs without a doubt. But they do like goals going in against them and goals going in for them, which is a weird way of putting it. There's always goals involved. Every time I look at the results every week, Charlton have either won 3-2 or they've lost 3-1 or something like that. So I expect goals. So cue the famous 0-0 now going to come. But I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling really confident about these next 2 games. You've got 2 teams who are basically on the beach, and I'd like to think that we're going to put them away. So yeah, confident going into it.
Wow. Time to do predictions there. Nice segue there. Mark, what do you reckon there, my friend? Another 4 goals involved. Last time we went into the game against Charlton at Portman Road, of course, I was saying dead rubber. Here we go. The deadest of dead rubbers. But no, Town have got things to play for. Charlton, they're happy. I think they're steady. I think they're pretty happy. They're finished 10th, 11th. So I wouldn't say they're on the beach, but they're pretty much like, as Brad said, just, give Town the win so we'd have to play them. But prediction.
Difficult. Maybe skewed a little bit by Monday's result. I'll say a narrow 2-1 Town win. I think, as Brad said there, Charlton on their day are probably a match for anyone. They've got the talent to do it. I think Ratsaki is really coming to his own this last sort of 2 months or so. You can tell he's kind of now settled in League One, probably showing that he's too good for League One. I think we have been linked with him if we do go up on loan. So maybe this is a little bit of a scouting mission for a few people if we do go up. But yeah, there's some good players in there. I'm sure there's a very small or maybe very large part of Macaulay Bond that hopes that Charlton don't get the result on Saturday. But yeah, I think we'll say a narrow 2-1. Get back to winning ways, set us up nicely for Port Vale on Tuesday and see what the table looks like, because we've been top of the league during games, the last 2 games. Let's see if we can be top of the league come the end of 90 minutes.
Yes, my friend. Brad, what's your scoreline or choice for this game then? Peek behind the curtain, prediction-wise, in a prediction league for the KOA Army, there's two men who are currently doing draws. just to keep that luck in there.
Bin dipper fixture. This is on here. We're right down. I think you did get some points at the weekend, though, didn't you?
I predicted a Cheltenham draw. Basically, for them 8 straight wins, because I predicted the first 2 results of those 8 wins wrong, I thought, well, I'm basically making a sacrifice, and the football gods have obviously decided that if I predict the wrong result, Town will win. So I did that for the next 8 games. I now find myself bottom of the prediction lead. But now it's all up in the air now because I predicted the right result on Monday. So I'm going to have to start predicting correct scores again.
You got a point. You didn't get maximum points. You went 2-2. So you're now not bottom. You're second bottom. Mark Beck is bottom. Sorry to say, Mark.
Not the right kit on for being bottom.
Yeah.
I'll go 3-1. I think we'll concede. I think Charlton have got enough quality to get a goal. I think it'll be an open game because there's no reason for Charlton to sit back and defend a lead for me. I mean, they might as well, if they get one, they might as well try and get 2 or 3 against us. I mean, that's certainly how I'd want my team to view this game if I was 11th or 10th in the league as they are with nothing to play for. So yeah, I think it'll be a good, exciting, open game, but I think we'll win 3-1. And yeah, hopefully by the end of the day, who has Sheffield got? They've both got away games, haven't they?
Yeah, it's Devon Derby, isn't
it?
And Exeter play Plymouth at midday, don't they? So us lot will know the result of that going into 3 o'clock. I don't know if that helps us or not. I've got a bit of a conspiracy theory about Man City and Arsenal. The fact that Man City have played first every week for like the last 3 months, and Arsenal have to play afterwards, put the pressure on them. But it's not quite like that. Not at sort of high stakes. But yeah, I think long story short, we'll win.
Okay then. Well, we're just over the hour mark, which is the perfect time to sort of end podcasts. I was going to mention the referee because that's a story that's been on the timeline. Quick little mention of that. James Bell is the referee for the game this weekend, but apparently he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Mark, thoughts on this?
I mean, it kind of is what it is. You can't really. It's a bit of an unusual situation. Basically, Plymouth's former manager Ryan Lowe has kind of made this common knowledge because of comments he's made last season. I think it might have been. But yeah, it's a bit of an unusual situation. Does it really make a big difference in the game? Probably not before, but now it probably does because everyone in the stadium knows who he supports. Every decision's going to be under intense scrutiny. So he's either going to be, booed out of Ipswich and chased out with pitchforks if the result doesn't go our way, or he's probably not welcome back in Sheffield if we end up winning. I think ordinarily it probably wouldn't make a huge difference. He's ref 2 Plymouth games early in the season. Plymouth won and drew, I believe. So it's just one of those things. It's just, I think the league have probably got to act in their own best interest and for him, really. I think someone on the group chats, I mean, it'll be sod's law that we lose him as a referee and get an even worse one. So we shall see. But yeah, it's an odd situation. Just another crazy factor in this title race, really, that, now we're bemoaning referee performances before they've even happened.
Yeah, it's just they need to turn this season into a documentary because this season someone's going to miss out in the automatics with 90 points. Brad, I think you put in the chat you did your prediction league sort of thing. Quickly talk about that before we wrap up.
Yeah, I did the prediction league for those of the days posted on there, and I did for scores for the top 6 or top 8 actually at the time. And I've got us to come out as second, I believe, haven't I? Come out as second because, and I didn't predict the win every week. I didn't I felt like I was actually quite fair in regards to the results I predicted. But I just think that the running, everyone will say that we've got the toughest running. We've got Peterborough and Barnsley away. But for me, I think they're good games to have because both of those sides maybe not Barnsley, because they probably are cemented in the playoffs without doubt. And yeah, by luck, they might go up. But Peterborough, they are still fighting for their playoff position. So that's a massive game for them. That is riding on that. And I think actually playing teams like the teams that are down there at the bottom, I mean, Sheffield Wednesday lost to Forest Green. Anything can happen, is what I'm saying. And I was thinking that Plymouth, for weeks I was reading, they've got a piss easy run in. They'll romp to the league title now. There's no way they're going to slip up. But they've got teams to play like is it Bristol Rovers away, Exeter away, and I just feel like there's going to be them little grounds where home fans will get on top of them and they will struggle. And I think we're in a good position because we've won 8 in a row. Nobody really expected us to be in the conversation for top 2, 6 weeks ago. So we're not hanging on, are we? We're still pushing. And even now, we're still pushing. Whereas Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday haven't really had to look over their shoulder for quite a long time. And now they are. And I feel that the pressure's on them. I don't feel the pressure is on us. I feel like we've done fantastically well these last few weeks to get where we are. And I feel like Sheffield Wednesday, they bottled it a couple of weeks ago almost, and the fact that they hadn't won for ages. So I just think that we're in the best position. I think we're in the best position out of all them teams. I know we've got 2 tough away games, but I think you win these 2 home games, and I think the rest of it will take care of itself. I really do. So let's hope we get these 2 wins, because if we do, I think we're going to be top of the league come Peterborough away, and then yeah, I think it takes care of itself from there on.
Okay, then. Like that positivity there. Like that positivity. Well, boys, it's been a great podcast. Been great to have you on. Any other business before I do the outro? A big shout out, of course, to the Ipswich Town women's team who play Milton Keynes this weekend on Sunday at Stadium MK. So a nice stadium game for them. 2 p.m. kickoff. Heard the Swedish branch are going to be there, and there's going to be a minibus going down. Or supporters coach going down. So if you go and enjoy it, if you want to go, their ticket information will be on social media at Ipswich Town Women's Team. Big free games for them. They're also in the hunt for promotion as well. So hopefully both teams win promotion or win titles. That would be fantastic. But Mark, any other business from yourself?
No. Just, I think I said it last time I was on as well. Just however this season pans out to at the final day, just enjoy it. It's just nice to be involved in the conversation, and there's going to be some anxious, nervy, horrible few weeks, and feelings during games when we're not quite at it potentially, or not winning, and other teams are. But just enjoy it. That's what football's all about. It's competitive. It's nice to be involved, and yeah, for many, including myself, it's probably one of the most memorable seasons I ever have as an Ipswich fan. And even if it doesn't end up the way we want it to, I'll still have some really good memories from this season. So, yeah, just keep on winning, Town, or just match Wednesday. Because if we match Wednesday, barring a crazy goal difference swing, which I can't really see Wednesday doing, I've said it now, we probably will. But yeah, if we match Wednesday's results, then we're going up effectively. We need obviously get one better than to catch the 3 points, but if we can bridge that gap, then we're going up. Win 6 games, we're going up. So,
love it, Mark. Love it, my friend. Brad, over to you then. Any other business?
Yeah, just quickly, they haven't got Bristol Rovers away; they've got them at home. But I know that was a game where I was looking at, because that is the same night that we play Barnsley away, and huge pressure is on that game. That's what I'm saying. There's pressure on the top 2. Yes, there's pressure on us, but I'm with Mark. I think we're going to do it. I'm not normally a confident and positive Town fan, but we are the best team in the league at the moment. It's simple. All the stats back that up. You don't win 8 in a row, and you don't go to Bolton and Derby away and just comfortably win unless you are the best team in the league. So I think we're going to do it, and I know that we might, like Mark says, go 1-0 down in games, and for instance, but. I like our running, like I've said, and I think we're going to do it. Come on, Town.
Yeah, come on, Town. Love that fighting talk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy it. 6 big games. First off, Charlton, then Port Vale, 2 sold out Portman Roads against Charlton and Port Vale on a Tuesday night. Just fantastic. As ever, big shout out to our sponsors, Manscaped. Use the code KOA to get 20% off and free delivery at the checkout. And also Ginger Pickle for all your marketing needs. The GOATs are marketing. Big shout out to Tony Southgate, who's been helping me out with my In Pictures series and just general marketing needs. Ginger Pickle is your man. But yeah, thanks again for listening. If you haven't already, of course, follow Mark Beck, Brad on Twitter, Kings of Anglia on all the socials as well. Of course, listen, watch all the other content that will bring you ahead of the game and follow the game with us if you're not going. And yeah, thanks again. Bye-bye for now.